Most riders practice. They ride more. They watch videos. They repeat the same drills over and over. And yet, nothing really changes. Corners still feel stiff instead of fluid. U-turns still spike the heart rate. Traffic still turns calm, rides into tense mental workouts. That's the part no one wants to admit, because effort is being made, time is being spent, the helmet is getting worn. So here's the uncomfortable question most riders never ask out loud. If you're practicing so much, why aren't you actually getting better? That question bothered me for years. I'm Matthew. This is Autozium. And today we're talking about a truth that makes a lot of riders defensive. Not because it's harsh, but because it's accurate. Most riders are practicing the wrong things. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, not because they're reckless, but because nobody ever explained what real practice actually looks like on a motorcycle. And until you understand that, effort alone won't save you. Let me tell you about Dave. I met him at a gas station a few years back, mid-50s, clean bike, full protective gear, calm, polite, experienced vibe, the kind of rider you'd assume had everything figured out. We started talking, and the conversation drifted into riding habits. Dave told me he practiced every weekend. Parking lot, figure eights, starts and stops, slow speed stuff, all the things riders are supposed to do. Then he said something that stuck with me. I still get nervous when traffic tightens up. I still hate U-turns. And if something unexpected happens, I don't trust myself. That sentence tells you everything. Dave wasn't inexperienced. Dave wasn't careless. Dave wasn't avoiding practice. Dave was practicing and still stuck. And that's when it clicked. Dave wasn't bad at riding. Dave was bad at practicing the right things. And if we're being honest, most riders are. The biggest mistake riders make is confusing repetition with progress. Just riding more miles doesn't automatically make you better. Doing the same drill the same way doesn't magically build skill. And practicing what feels comfortable doesn't prepare you for real riding. Practice isn't about motion. It's about change. If nothing is changing, you're not practicing. You're repeating. Most riders repeat what they already know how to do. And repetition without challenge just hardens habits, good or bad. That's how plateaus happen. Let's talk about what most riders actually practice. They practice speed. They practice straight line braking. They practice empty roads with no pressure. They practice wide, forgiving turns that leave plenty of room for error. All of that feels productive. All of that looks like riding. All of that feels safe. And almost none of it shows up when things get tight, slow, or stressful. Because real riding problems don't happen when everything is flowing. They happen at walking speed, at intersections, in parking lots, in traffic, in moments where space disappears and time compresses. That's where panic lives. And that's exactly where most riders don't practice. Here's the hard truth that makes people uncomfortable. If your practice doesn't feel at least a little uncomfortable, it probably isn't making you better. Most riders avoid slow speed practice because it feels awkward. The bike wobbles, the steering feels heavy, balance feels uncertain, and worst of all, it feels like you might drop the bike. So riders subconsciously avoid that feeling. They speed up, they widen turns, they ride out of the discomfort instead of into it, because speed feels smooth, speed feels stable, speed feels confident. But speed is lying to you. Speed hides mistakes. Speed masks poor clutch control. Speed forgives bad vision habits. Speed covers sloppy balance. Slow riding exposes everything. Your clutch control, your throttle discipline, your body tension, your head and eye movement, your patience. That's why it works, and that's why riders avoid it. I see this pattern constantly. A rider can cruise highways for hours without breaking a sweat, but can't perform a tight U-turn without anxiety. A rider can lean confidently in sweepers, but freezes in parking lots. A rider can have years of seat time and still tense up at red lights. That's not experience. That's avoidance stacked on top of time. Another massive mistake riders make is practicing without intention. They go to a parking lot, they ride around, they do a few turns, they leave, and they call it practice. But they never stop to ask one simple question. What am I actually trying to improve today? Without a clear target, your brain defaults to survival mode. And survival mode does one thing very well. It protects you from discomfort. That means avoiding tight turns, avoiding stalls, avoiding mistakes, avoiding anything that feels unstable. But learning lives inside instability. Real practice has a purpose, one skill, one weakness, one uncomfortable thing. Not everything at once. Because if everything is the goal, nothing improves. This is where most riders get frustrated. They feel like they're putting in effort, but nothing is sticking. Confidence doesn't grow. Tension doesn't fade. Panic still shows up at the worst times. And that frustration pushes them to either ride faster, buy a different bike, or stop practicing altogether. None of which solve the problem. Here's what actually works. And this is where Dave's story turns. You practice slow. You practice deliberately. You practice the things that scare you just enough to make your brain pay attention. Not recklessly, not all at once, but consistently. You practice clutch control until it's boring. You practice braking until it's automatic. You practice vision until your head turns without thinking. And you stop measuring practice by how much ground you covered. You measure it by how much control you felt. That's the shift Dave had to make. He realized that his practice looked like riding, but didn't feel like learning. And learning always feels different. Learning feels awkward. Learning feels slow. Learning feels mentally tiring in a way riding doesn't. That's how you know it's working. But there's one more ingredient most riders completely miss: pressure. Most riders practice when nothing is at stake. No cars, no traffic, no time pressure, no consequences. That feels responsible, and at first it is. But riding always includes pressure, people watching, drivers rushing, unexpected movements, imperfect timing. So if your practice never includes even light pressure, your skills collapse when pressure shows up in the real world. The key is controlled pressure, simple rules, tighter space, slower speed, no feet down, eyes up at all times. Now your brain can't coast. Now your body has to adapt. Now mistakes teach you something. That's the difference between riding around and actually practicing. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Practicing once a month doesn't work. Practicing for hours doesn't beat practicing briefly with focus. 15 minutes of intentional practice beats 2 hours of wandering every time. Because skill is built through repetition with feedback, not exhaustion. Dave eventually figured this out. He stopped trying to ride more. He stopped chasing confidence. He stopped avoiding discomfort. Instead, he practiced slow turns, precise stops, tight spaces, head and eyes first, every time. And something unexpected happened. Riding started to feel quieter, less mental noise, less tension in the shoulders, less white-knuckle grip, not because the road changed, but because he did. A few months later, I ran into him again. Same bike, same gear, different rider. He didn't sound proud. He didn't sound cocky. He just said, "I don't think about it as much anymore. The bike just goes where I want it to." That's the real goal. Not speed, not style, not looking smooth for others. Control, calm, consistency. Here's the part most riders never hear, and even fewer truly understand. Confidence is not something you think your way into. It's not something you hype yourself into, and it's definitely not something you buy with a new bike or more horsepower. Confidence is a byproduct. It shows up when your brain knows, deep down, that your hands and feet can handle whatever comes next. That's why so many riders feel confident one moment and completely shaken the next. Their confidence is conditional. It depends on speed. It depends on space. It depends on everything going right. And the moment conditions change, confidence evaporates. That's not confidence. That's comfort. And comfort is fragile. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need reassurance. It comes from control. This is where most riders get it backward. They chase confidence by riding faster. They chase confidence by avoiding situations that make them uncomfortable. They chase confidence by staying in environments where they already feel competent. And every time they do that, they reinforce the same limitation. They're teaching their brain, "I'm only safe when things are easy." So when things stop being easy, panic shows up. This is why slow speed mastery changes everything. Not because slow riding is impressive, not because it looks cool, but because it teaches your nervous system something vital. I'm in control, even when nothing is helping me. At low speeds, the bike doesn't stabilize itself. Momentum isn't saving you. Gyroscopic forces aren't smoothing mistakes. It's just you, the machine, and your inputs. That's why slow riding feels exposed, and that's why it builds confidence that actually lasts. Most riders never stay there long enough for learning to settle in. They dip into slow speed work, feel awkward, feel judged, even if no one is watching, and leave. They tell themselves, I'll come back to this later. Later rarely comes, and that's why riding never fully relaxes. Here's something most riders don't realize: your body learns before your brain does. You can know what to do intellectually, clutch control, vision, throttle discipline, and still fail to do it under pressure. Because knowing isn't owning. Ownership comes from repetition under mild stress. That's why watching videos helps understanding, but not execution. Dave understood everything. He could explain technique. He could describe proper inputs. But under pressure, his body reverted to old habits because his practice never challenged those habits. That changed when he stopped practicing outcomes and started practicing inputs. Instead of asking, did I make the turn? He asked, was my throttle steady? Instead of asking, did I stall? He asked, was I in the friction zone? Instead of asking, did it look smooth? He asked, was my vision correct? That shift is everything. Because outcomes lie, inputs don't. You can get a good outcome with bad inputs, especially at speed, but bad inputs always show up eventually. That's why riders who look skilled on open roads sometimes fall apart in parking lots. Their success was situational. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. Most riders are afraid of looking stupid, not consciously, but emotionally. They don't want to wobble. They don't want to stall. They don't want to put a foot down. They don't want to feel clumsy. So they ride in a way that avoids embarrassment, and that avoidance quietly caps their skill. Real progress requires being willing to look unpolished, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. That's why practice feels different from riding. Practice demands humility. It asks you to admit, this part isn't solid yet. And for riders who pride themselves on experience, that can sting. Dave told me something honest later on. He said, I didn't want to admit that after all these years, parking lots still scared me. That sentence matters because fear doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It just waits. And the longer it waits, the louder it gets when it shows up. The riders who look calm in chaos aren't fearless. They're familiar. They've been there, deliberately, in practice. Let's talk about pressure again, because this is where practice either works or fails. Pressure doesn't mean danger. It means stakes, rules, constraints, focus. Pressure wakes the brain up. Without it, practice becomes motion without meaning. That's why endless figure eights stop working. Your brain adapts, your attention fades, your body goes on autopilot, and autopilot never learns. But change the rules slightly, and learning comes back. Tighter space, slower speed, specific focus. Now mistakes appear, and mistakes are where learning hides. This is something riders misunderstand deeply. Mistakes aren't failure. Mistakes are feedback. A wobble tells you something. A stall tells you something. A wide turn tells you something. But only if you're paying attention. Most riders rush past mistakes emotionally. They get frustrated, they get annoyed, they quit early. And that's the moment growth was about to start. Dave used to stop practicing when he got annoyed. That's common. But annoyance is a signal, not a stop sign. It means your brain is struggling to reconcile intention with execution. That's learning knocking. The key is stopping after a small win, not after exhaustion. Short sessions, clear focus, end on control. That's how confidence sticks. Another reason riders don't improve is because they practice everything at once. Throttle, clutch, vision, balance, braking, all competing for attention. That overwhelms the brain. Effective practice isolates. One session might be all about clutch smoothness, another might be vision discipline, another might be precise stopping. When one skill improves, everything else gets easier. That's leverage. And leverage is what most riders are missing. Now here's the part that changes how you ride forever. Confidence doesn't show up as excitement. It shows up as silence. Less chatter in your head, less tension in your arms, less urgency in your movements. You stop reacting and start responding. That's what Dave noticed. Traffic didn't magically become safer. Intersections didn't change, but his reaction to them did, because he trusted his inputs. He wasn't guessing anymore. That's why riders who practice correctly don't dramatic. They look boring, and that's a compliment. Smooth, predictable, unrushed. Those riders aren't riding harder, they're riding cleaner, and clean riding lasts. So if you've been riding for years and still feel tense, here's the truth. You're not broken. You're not talentless. You're not too old or too new. You're just practicing the wrong things. Change what you practice, and everything changes with it. Stop chasing speed. Stop chasing confidence. Stop chasing perfection. Chase control. Because when control shows up, confidence follows quietly, reliably, permanently. One day, you'll realize something. You're not thinking so much anymore. Your hands know what to do. Your eyes move naturally. Your body stays relaxed even when things tighten up. That's when riding becomes enjoyable again. Not because it's thrilling, but because it's calm. And calm riders ride longer. Ride smart, ride patient, and I'll see you in the next one.